What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Rob's Gaming Table. Today on the table we have another Game of Thrones, a card game, 2nd edition video for you, brought to you by these awesome folks that back the channel at patreon.com/Rob's Gaming Table. And this one we got Francis playing Targ, trading with the Qohor, against Sean playing Targ, Wars to Come. So for setups, we got Khal Drogo, Viserys Targaryen, and I'm not sure which is kind of attached to Drogo. It's going to be tough here in this Qohor match because I'm sure he's playing a lot of Targ attachments I'm not familiar with. But let's see if we can figure it out. Might just be a bigger king. And on the other side for setup, we got a Viserion, a Second Sons, Flea Bottom, and a Gates of the Moon. So for plot flips here, we have Time of Plenty on the left side for the Qohor player, and we got exchange of information on the Wars to Come side of things. And it looks like the Targ Wars player won initiative, obviously chose the Qohor player on the left to go first. And he's going to sort out his exchange of information cards here to let his opponent choose a card of each type.
That was somewhat unexpected.
So he does hit 3 there. He's got Dracarys, a Flea Bottom, and a Bigger King, which his opponent doesn't get to make a choice because he hit all of them, and they were solo. No other copies of those card types. And then a dupe of Viserion is grabbed for the character. So nice 4-card hit there.
Yeah, yes. I want to know, like, dupe of Flea Bottom, I think it's Dracarys.
I was going to give you the bottom anyways.
Well, it happened to be the only location that I drew. Such is the nature of exchange of information.
Nice one. All right.
Did you want to cut?
Draw 3.
Yep.
So they're going to draw 3 cards, of course, off the Time of Plenty. If you guys haven't watched the previous games in this series, they are up at Rob's Gaming Table in a playlist for the New York Regional 2018, or New York State, Upstate New York Regional, I guess, at Millennium Games here. And marshalling first is Francis on the left there. The Qohor deck got a dupe of Khal Drogo. And we have a Targ Loyalist. And he threw a Breaker of Chains on Drogo there. So Breaker of Change, 2 cost. Unique Targ character only. It's a title. Attached character gets +1 strength for each character you control with printed cost 2 or lower. So is this a weenie deck? And then he's got reaction. After attached character is declared as an attacker, put a character with printed cost 2 or lower into play from your hand. Interesting. Interesting. And there is Drogon. And saving 2 gold on the Qohor side. Over to the Wars to Come player Sean here for his marshalling. So off that attachment, I guess Khal Drogo's getting a +2 strength buff right now, since he's got 2 characters out there that are printed cost 2 or lower. So we'll see here how Qohor comes into play out of Targ. I'm not familiar really with what it's trying to do with what attachments, but I know Targ does have fairly good attachments, so it's nice to see this agenda making those come out of the binder and get played in Targ decks. But will it be enough to deal with Wars to Come, which everyone thinks is the best agenda right now? If you look at any of the tournament results, it seems to be the most played. So there's that dupe of Viserion that we saw pulled out earlier on the Exchange of Information, and the Flea Bottom dupe that we saw pulled out on the Exchange of Information. There's Sir Jorah. And the limited is a Rose Road. No Econ on the other side of the board, though. But I guess at least he's getting the gold from Gates of the Moon on his opponent's side, right? And there we got that Bigger King put on Sir Jorah. 2 gold saved on the other side. Targ loves saving that gold. Going into the challenge phase to keep you guessing.
Nope, I'm good.
So on to challenges. So we got a military with Khal Drogo. And Breaker Change is going to bring in Viserion.
Military challenge.
So now that military challenge, I think, is 8 strength, since there's another 2 cost or lower in play. And there's more than enough across the board to defend it, but does he care? He's got a dupe on Viserion, he can just pitch that.
I have no actions, I have no reactions.
So it's unopposed.
Unopposed power. Claim.
And yep, takes the dupe off Viserion for a claim on the military.
Thinking about Qohor.
Yep. Offer.
And after claim, of course, he does have that Qohor trigger, which he is debating. He does have attachments in play he can discard.
You won't trigger?
And he's not going to do it. It makes sense. Both those attachments, if it is a Beggar King as the other one, I think it's he's a good idea to keep it, especially if he doesn't have any economy in play and he's got some low gold plots. And we got a 1 strength chump power challenge here with Viserys. That goes unopposed also. And we have a second military with Drogon for 4.
Burn him. Come on, man. Burn him.
Absolutely right. I find it that way. Cheating.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
He is going to do the Dracarys that we knew he had. Kneels Viserion and burns Drogon. And Francis, the Qohor player, was calling it on, saying to do it. He's trying to bait it.
I thought it was going to be other cards that
And it sounds like that's it for challenges for the Qohor player. Over to the Wars to Come player for his challenges. He's going to start with the power of the Second Sons for 6. That'll go unopposed. Gets that power back easy and an unopposed on top of it.
Cards in hand?
4, 5.
4, 5. Either way that gets a card to the hand, but I like my Bigger King. So I will just pass.
would be things of winter. It didn't hurt taxation.
5 to 4.
But don't worry, it'll probably never happen again, honestly.
And dominance goes to the Wars to Come player on the right there. So he's actually in the lead now 3 to 2.
6, 7, 8. So I'm good on reserve. Oh, yes, thank you.
Pre-challenges.
And the Second Sons there popping to the discard pile, of course, with their built-in ability. Loading them up for that Flea Bottom sitting out there that's duped for next round, of course.
Touche. Very good. Thank you. I chose it myself. I will do a military challenge with Nexus. I hadn't considered it, but let me think about that for a while.
All good?
And now we have Velardo Harris into a Counting Coppers.
Sure.
Looks Looks like the Qohor player is just trying to get rid of that, burn that now, since he feels it's going to hit him hard in the future. He's probably sitting on another big dude. He doesn't want to just throw to the bottom of his deck later in the game. And of course, the worst come character or player, sorry, is looking to draw a bunch of cards there with the counting coppers to load up his hand.
So it would have been what, 2, 4, 5, 7 gold on Counting Copper's turn.
I have no
Not too
reaction
shabby,
to
huh?
Put to the sword. I don't want to do
5 is not bad either.
All right.
No, you're right. You're right. 5 is not
No,
bad
I
either.
know. I understand. I just think you're probably quite good at this game. So.
And the other side effect there, that Velardo Harris, he chose Viserys. I guess maybe that's the reason he did it. Viserys went to the bottom of the deck, and when he was leaving play, he got rid of that Beggar King, which would have loaded up even more gold on the Words to Come side. I believe that's what we were just talking about. Did that so quickly, I didn't even catch that's what he was doing. But yeah, that's an interesting play. And Viserys isn't dead, so he's able to come back and do the same thing in the future if he needs to. But still, Sean, the player on the right, seeing another Rose Road, loading up his econ. And extra to save, puts a card in shadows. I'm assuming it's Aegon Targaryen is going to come into play and grab a mercenary or whatever, and we're going to see a more full board on the other side than that. Not to mention if Kotho makes an appearance and Masandi getting discarded and all that business. We could have a pretty full board on the right. So don't think we're just having Viserion and Ser Jorah here fighting this round, I'm sure. And we have a Handmaiden. Haven't seen that card in a while, but it makes sense in a deck. You run a Breaker of Chains. You can sack it to stand a lady character, so I'm sure we're waiting for Dany to make an appearance in the Qohor deck. And 3 gold saved on the other side also. So an intrigue challenge to start here with Ser Jorah. And we got a Dracarys burning Jorah, but no, we have a Hand's Judgment cancel. And no defenders on that, so we should get a forced reaction on Jorah. Yes, we do, and an unopposed power gain. He's going to get a card and a renown, so that kind of went south for Francis there, since he just lost his Dany, 7-cost Dany, and a Dracarys, useless, thrown to the discard pile, emptying his hand out even more. That's not a good exchange there. And now we have that Flea Bottom bringing in a Second Sons. Forgot about the Flea Bottom bringing even characters in, so... But maybe we're not going to have Aegon come into play, since he only has 1 gold left. I forget the Shadows cost on Aegon, but I'm sure it's more than 1. I would hope.
Let's shuffle the Raven, or the growing strong. Yeah, I want you to grow strong.
It's Shadow 3 on Aegon, actually. So, not going to see him right now. We got no Hisdar, or whatever that king is called, where you can pitch a card to help reduce.
Exactly. So, I would never suggest something so defamatory.
So with the Wars to Come player on the right going first, he's got to think he's going to get some attacks coming back here. So he's kind of taking his time to see what he has coming back and how he'll deal with it. And he's going to push a power here with Second Sons, which gets blocked by the, well, blocks the unopposed, basically, with the Targaryen Loyalist. And the Wars to Come deck on the right now, it's 6 power to 1. And it's over to the player on the left. I think starting with an intrigue here for 1. And there he is, Kotho. Told ya. Called it. Oh, 2 Missandys. Dirty. So Missandys duped. And easily will be blocked just by Missandei.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Nothing happens here. That's not going to hurt too much. I used to hold my story. Well, yeah, I heard. So honestly, like, what else would you be flipping that might be tradable? All right, draw 3 cards. Take it away with the mark. Wait, who's first? You are first. Ours?
Now we have a power with Khal Drogo for 8, I believe.
Yeah.
And Breaker Chains bringing in, who's that? Irie, however you say it. So it's another +1, so it's a 9.
Not bad. Opus.
And we got a block for 2, but not enough to stop it. Just stop the unopposed. And we got a Qohor trigger here.
Oh, you're out of 2 costers.
Getting rid of the breaker of chains.
Ah, nice.
Is that
Nice play.
an Arak?
And so it begins.
I like it.
So Drogo's Arak comes out there. Attached character is +2. If attached character is Khal Drogo, he does not kneel when declared as an attacker in the first military challenge you initiate each round.
Then you can chill. You got it. Anytime he
I've,
talks,
I've played
He,
against him.
he,
Just
he's
tell-
played. He's
tell
played
me
you
shut.
before.
Just anytime he opens his mouth. Just
No, honestly, he always has the best builds. I always find that they're very interesting and they're very like unique. And I have been trying to do a Targ Qohor deck, but I haven't made it.
So we got the Wars to Come player here, touting Francis's deck building ability, and he is a very creative player. Always makes very sick decks. Always interested to see what he brings to tournaments.
get you.
Military?
And now he comes with a military challenge. So the other attachment he has is not a Beggar's King. He must be standing him with something.
Alright.
Is it the new attachment? Is he pitching cards? Is it the,
Just a 5.
7. Still gets a plus 2 strength.
Really?
Oh yes, that's right. The
it's not a Queen's Guard on him, is it?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Alright.
That's a good question.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, you discard card. You discard him? That power?
I'll claim the.
I'm not sure. Oh, sorry. He had did the,
Yeah.
sorry, the gold off of Irie, right? That's what did the stand there. I'm sorry.
Oh, yep.
Missed that.
My one.
Looks like Dom went to the player on the left, who is now at 7 power. Player on the right is at 5. So interesting turn here. Nice back and forth we got going. We got Khal Drogo there duped up, loading up on the power. Does the Targ Wars player have a way to deal with that? First snow would hit pretty hard. Actually, it hit pretty hard on both sides.
I have 0 cards for this one. I'm not a very good Mark Albert. Summer Seaport doesn't
I'm
let me
good.
get Gox into the discard. It's true.
And, oh, Blood of the Dragon is going to hit hard into King of the North on the other side.
You choose first player?
That's right, because I have less power.
So Targ player on the right is getting to choose who is first, winning initiative. And he's going to choose the Qohor player to be first player, as they're pointing out with the hand of the king pin there. Or token, medallion, whatever that is.
Good question. I'm as concerned as you are. 0. Absolutely none. Nada. Zilch. I'm going to.
Bodyguard?
Sure.
So we have a bodyguard put out there on Drogo to keep him around even longer.
Breaker of Chains?
Mm-hmm.
And we have Breaker of Chains returning, attaching it again to Khal Drogo. Oh no, sorry, attaching it to Eerie.
Reverse and play these out.
Do a military with left.
And I'll keep 2.
That will not be opposed. No reaction.
Any pre-challenge action?
No, sir.
And I think the idea there is throw it on Eerie to try to keep her alive. She doesn't just get burned away here. She has a -1 strength right now from the plot.
Rubbing up against that. No.
Possibly tricking this way.
And the attachment, I guess, protects her from that one Targ burn card. Dragon is no slave. And she has a +2 strength buff right now from that. So she's sitting at 3 strength. And then if she comes in a challenge, he'll be able to drop another 2 cost into play to then give it another buff. So we got the intrigue coming in here.
Oppose with
And Jorah's going to block. He'll get another bestow and a renown.
Your challenges.
let's go with a power.
And now a power challenge with Masandi for 1 strength. From the other side, looks like Francis passed the rest of his challenges.
Guys on him?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hey, I can believe I'm in a JT Roman. True. How about that? Oh, you get to. I see. I see. Okay. Challenge is action. We're going to sacrifice this to Brienne of Targ, just to differentiate it from the other Briennes. All set? Yep. Challenge away.
Yeah.
She's doing a power challenge.
Intrigue for that.
So power challenge of 1 with Masandi here. Francis is debating. Should he block? He's going to let it go unopposed.
Saved 4 cards, so presumably all the cards you saved were good. Unless the 4 cards were that. I don't know. That'd be weird. Alright, then I'll do a power with the Knights of the Sun. Since I'm losing badly right now.
Intrigue?
You can't. You cannot.
And now an intrigue with Kotho. Coming in for 4. That goes unopposed.
I am done.
So where's the come player racking up the power, gets a copy of Viserys out of hand. Obviously you didn't play him or he would have died right away. Due to the blood of the dragon being out there.
I have 8 for Dom.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, yeah.
So Dominus goes to the Qohor player.
Yeah, and you got the 3 gold, yeah. You got the 3 gold.
Good thing I made one.
So the Targ Wars to come player racking up a bunch of power that turn, but not as crazy as I thought it would be with the blood of the dragon being there.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Oh. Actually, am I? Okay.
And we got trading with the Matoshi into fortified position, I believe. It's the altar for. So all characters' text boxes will be blank, except for traits. And of course, 3 gold given to the Targ Wars player off the trading with the Matoshi. And it looks like the Targ Wars player is going first.
Alright, lots more gold. So 2 for that. 1 and 1. 5 for the plot.
Knew it. Well, then you probably I assume you played the perfect counter in all those plots you have. How many do you have?
So it looks like 12 gold to work with on the Targ Wars to come side here for marshalling.
Lyria's estate.
And knowing that Velardo Harris has already been played, and we see a 10 gold plot played on the other side of the board, I think you're safe to go with go a little wider, put some bigger dudes out there.
I know, I think. How much gold do you have?
So 5 for the plot, 3 for yours, 2 for this, 1 and 1 for that. And then kneel this for that, kneel it again to get the gold back.
React or interrupt. I'll draw a card. Exactly.
So Slaver's Bayport's been put into play up there. I don't know how many characters in the dead pile across the board, but we got a Plaza Pride coming into play.
First real turn problems here. Put out a second
And another Second Sons.
3, not 4. And that's it. Sit on.
And he's going to save a whole bunch there.
He stays there, right?
Yes, he will. Because he's blank.
And they're just discussing there how fortified positions blanking the Second Sons, so they're not going to leave play at the end of the round. His text box is blank when that passes, so he has to stick around for another round. The other thing is Ser Jorah can be used in challenges and win also, since he's blank. You won't get another betrayal token on him. It's kind of interesting. Keeps him around for another round also. But on the other side of the board, it's hitting Khal Drogo pretty hard. He loses his text box, no renown. And also Eerie losing her stand ability is pretty big. And we get a milk on. Who is that? Masandi.
No cards in hand.
Yeah, I knew I like how you're
And there is 7 cost Danny in play. But she is again blank for the round, which is too bad.
They are the ruling house. They are, so to speak. I mean, in name at least.
So I'm not sure why the milk on Masandi. I guess it's just to put an attachment across the board that you're controlling, that you can sack for Qohor. Can't put it on the dragons. You don't want to put it on the second sons. You don't want to put it on Ser Jorah. I guess either Masandi or Kotho, you really are your only proper options there.
Six copies of Growing Strong. You're just seething. You're like, why did he have to suffer over that again? I need some characters.
Sucks for me.
That's almost basically what it is.
I have 7.
So we're in challenges now. Wars to Come players coming with a power challenge first for 2. With Masandi. Could block with Jiqui, or Eerie, sorry, and fully block it. I think he's got the breaker chains on there, giving up the strength buff. But he's going to let it go unopposed.
Challenges over you.
Which puts the Targ Wars player at 11 power. And he passes his challenges. So we got a military hero, Khal Drogo, not kneeling to attack. Because the Drogo's a rock.
You have no cards in hand? No cards in hand.
Oh, Targ Qohor player has no cards in hand. Here we go, double Dracarys. There's the answer.
Can't sit there waiting to see if
There is the answer.
or not.
It's a great goal.
I shouldn't have played the Duke though. You would have done intrigue.
Oh, yeah. So that cost me 2 gold, and these 2 guys are notes.
Well, there's no way I can defend that military. True fact.
Yep. That's.
I'm going to
I did. I had 8 gold. I had 8 gold at the end of my marshalling.
spend 2 gold to do.
Yep, that's it. I won't defend it.
Apparently I'm your family crypto. We remember it. That's like
I'm not neutral on this. Can we just put it that way?
So a bunch of attachments now in hand for the Qohor player. They're not really doing much there.
I'm asking for permission to take it. You take it back. I don't care. I mean, I was gonna carry all her, but you know.
And it looks like Sean's got enough characters there to just block what he needs to block. Could push through a power challenge maybe.
Right, cool.
But then again, Flea Bottom with second sons there, probably not. Yeah, no, he's...
That's true.
Yeah, all 3 Dracarys are on the discard pile I just mentioned.
Like if an Isle of Ravens or something.
Okay, I go first. I will. Military.
Yeah, it definitely took the wind out of the sails for the Qohor player for sure, losing Drogo there like that. We see all 3 copies are gone now. And we got a mill coming in from Viserys, or Viserion, sorry, Viserion.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Winter is coming.
And second sun's a block. Now you should be able to sneak through a power. He's got 7 power, 8, 9 power, I think. And the second sun's coming in. Can only block for 6.
Yeah, I'm full disclosure, I don't actually have
Alright.
Sea Prince's plan.
So dominance goes to the worst gun player. That's gonna be it there.
Okay. I will kneel Starfall to remove power icon from what? I assume, first of all, you win the stars. Yeah. Assuming I trigger that. Yeah. Not that you did. Yeah. I'll do a. Let's do a power challenge with this. Oh, you remove the power icon. So that goes on post.
Stand everything, I suppose. We'll see.
You had all the Dracarys for a while.
So only 3 power left to be claimed for the Targ Wars to come player. So he could possibly close it out here this round. See if there's a second reset in the Qohor deck, maybe. But I don't think that'd be good for him. Could only be like really Valar Morghulis. Maybe a Wildfire would be spicy, but no, it's not. We got another Cannon Coppers, second Cannon Coppers, another Worst to Come deck, and we got a Win or You Die. So some card draw is what the Qohor player needs. He is going to go first. He's got to claim. But military is not going to hit too hard. There's claim soak across the board easily. And we got a King's Road that was popped immediately to get a Rygel into play. And we got a Bodyguard on Danny. And an Iraq on Erie, who is a Dothraki. So there's a legal attachment there. And a second Bodyguard on Danny. And a Beggar King on Danny. So 1 gold saved, 1 card saved on the Qohor side. Over to the Worst to Come player for his marshalling. He's placed out all his gold there on his location so he doesn't forget what to rack up, speed up the game here.
As long as we haven't done anything to make it use Allen presence.
So we can see he's going to have 6 to work with, a handful of cards. Still has a card in shadows there at the top of the screen.
You're gonna close call him, I can tell.
First
You're
I'll
gonna be
do
like,
this,
"Ooh,
2 more.
burn."
So 2 for the flood, 2 for these, 2 for these 2 for that. I'll kneel this for
Yeah,
another
you were gonna close call him. I knew it.
Cost me 1.
I will say
Get 2.
that you
have Danny? You have Danny.
to go.
Oh, shit. Targ's gonna win a game.
First. I will.
I see what you did there, Jeff.
Sacrifice
Or
my
Tom.
Ravens.
I don't know why I keep calling you Jeff. That's like the 3rd or 4th time.
Naturally, the only choice. Who's Jeff? Take it away. Draw 2. No, I don't. How dare you?
He does have 5 cost Danny in hand, we see. But he's got to think what plots he has coming up, what his opponent's last plot could be. I think he only has 1 plot left. Might be 2.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You are.
And there she is.
At least not this round.
I don't know your hand. But
I mean, you know, all 3 Dracarys are gone. Yeah, I'll sit on 4.
And 4 gold saved on the Worst to Come side.
I like the way you frame it as all 3, as if that's the
See a Dragon is no slave in the Worst to Come player's hand there. Thinking about pre-challenge actions now.
To stand regardless.
you win?
Flea bottoms. Keep of a dragon. take out that stand. So -2, and then reaction on -1.
So he does kill Rhaegal to prevent the stand on Dany, using Dragon's Slave and then Dany's reaction.
Anything else?
Nope.
So it's crippling the Qohor player just a little bit more.
Good.
At least Dany does have stealth, though, with Viserion out there on the left side.
Alright, I'm done with okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So what challenges will the Qohor player here do going first? He's got 2 claim, but can he get anything through? Flea Bottom is still loaded. He's got at least 1 gold for it. He's got a card in Shadows. He's got a second Sun sitting there ready, locked in the discard pile. Like you can sit back and try to play defensive, but you're gonna lose some challenges, I would assume, unless you can defend them. I mean, keeping Dany standing does do some minus strength on the other side, so the player on the left doesn't have the board, I think, to defend. And if he goes ham and attacks like crazy, he'll put some 2 claim pressure on his opponent. Maybe kneels out some of his board, and somebody bumped the camera, obviously. But we can still see what's going on here. And he is doing an intrigue, stealthing Rhaegal, so he's going to see if he can hit the Targ player's hand, the other Targ player's hand for 2 claim. He's going to spend the gold off Eerie there to stand Dany right away, so the -1 strength is back into play. So at least he doesn't really lose anything there. He still has his character standing, but I mean, maybe saving that gold to use Dany on the defense might have mattered, but
1 card.
Or 1 card in hand, sorry. 2 claim.
Totally did not take enough gold shots turn. Alright, 7, 3. Oh, wow, okay, well that totally changes everything. Fantastic. Alright, in that case,
Well, essentially,
will...
it's CCP, right? Playing together. We realize we play shit. There's stuff in the dead pile.
Unless you pay 1 for trader. These top 2.
But the Qohor player, Francis, here can't go too aggressive if he kneels down most of his board and he lets, he's got to defend 3 power from being gained by the other player. So you got to prevent the unopposed for sure. So he's going to defend with Dany. He's going to defend with Kotho, but we're getting a Dracarys here with Viserion, burning Kotho. Dany can't be hit by it. Her strength can't be reduced by card effects.
3 to your 2, or 5 rather. So you win.
So it looks like it is a 1 intrigue challenge. So he's going to get 2 claim here. So was a Dracarys hiding in hand? That's interesting. And Viserys and an Unsullied are the claim for intrigue.
Or do you need a 2-coster? You have a milk over here. We're doing literally nothing.
Oh, maybe that second Sons was in the dead pile down in the bottom right of the screen. I assume that was the discard pile. That's my bad.
Let's do 1 for Isle of Raven. Is it only losing on defense? Losing on defense, yeah. Never attack.
That might explain why we hadn't seen it jump into play earlier.
Costain Escort. Sit on 1 money. Critical amount that 1 needs. Do you have any pre-challenges actions?
True high tower, back up to 20. 1 to put a power on him. Back in.
Insight.
Yep.
So we'll get an insight off Dany there. We saw him use Qohor. Just trying to figure out what that attachment is.
It's sacrificed in order to discard the character.
It is a Misa, lady character only. During the first power challenge you initiate each round, attached character does not kneel when declared as an attacker and gets +1 strength for each attacking character. That is interesting. So we can get another offensive challenge in here without kneeling a character. So he's going to do a power challenge with Dany, stealthing the second Sons. He's getting a little more out of this challenge phase than I thought he would. So Dany's a 6, I think, getting the +1 bump off that attachment.
Sword Steed.
So Masandi's going to block the unopposed.
Yep. So no unopposed. Do you have any reactions? Claim. 2. Yes, thank you.
So claim 2. So he's put the Targ Wars to come player 5 away from winning. So that's good that he's maybe prolonged it another round here at least. And he's going to chuck the Milk of the Poppy off Missandei for another Qohor trigger, of course. We knew that was going to happen eventually. What is he going to grab here? Something cool that he can get some other tricks going and maybe do a third challenge. Give Danny military somehow. So is that a Silver Steed? I think it was a Silver Steed.
Yes, I do. Just gonna stealth him? Are you sure? My second sentence is right here.
So he sacks the Silver Steed to do another power challenge. He stealths Viserion, not Second Sons. And the Wars to Come player thinks that's a mistake. Oh, I also forgot Plaza Pride still out there on the Wars to Come player side, so he's able to stand characters and hit back. And we got 14 minutes left, it sounded like, or 13 minutes. Let's do a block of 6.
So where are you getting the plus strength from?
And Misa given a +1 strength there. So that's enough to still win.
In that case,
Didn't understand where that strength was coming from, but we knew it was from Misa.
yeah. I'll stand her up. Sorry. We'll close with 9.
And we got
Points.
Danny and Danny standing, coming in with Second Sons for a block there off the Plaza Pride pitch. And now we got a flea bottom trigger.
Drogon.
And Drogon's in play, the one that was just pitched for Plaza Pride. Coming back with a military attack here.
Opposed. Reaction. Sorry.
So that's unopposed. Bodyguard goes away. Reaction gets back. A dragon is no slave since he won with a dragon there, spending his last gold.
Let's do an intrigue.
So an intrigue challenge for 3 here with Rhaegal.
Okay.
And we got a block for 4 to fully block. And then a power with Viserion for 2. And now we'll go unopposed, giving him 2 power.
And that's it. My done with 4.
And dominance, thanks to Jorah standing there. Puts the Targ Wars player 1 power away from winning. Some clever plays there by Francis, but just not enough to get through and keep the Targ Wars player away from pulling in a victory. We'll see what happens here. I mean, I don't think the Wars to Come player is going to reset himself, and it does look like we're still too far away from looping around to Velardo Harris. Not like it would hit that hard on the player on the right anyway. But yeah, I'm not sure it's a reset we need. I think we need the Qohor player to top deck. You know, something amazing. But at this rate, I don't know. But do keep in mind we got more Game of Thrones coming up on the channel, so make sure you subscribe. Hit that little alarm bell button to be notified when the next video goes up. We got the a few more games from the Swiss. We got the cut coming up too, so more Thrones. And we got Close Call into Littlefinger's Meddling. So the Targ Wars player looking to reduce the cost of events, so maybe he's got some in hand. We're expecting to draw into some and just going to play out some of his burn events here. It's too bad we've already seen all 3 Khal Drogos. I think he moved a Rhaegal there to draw a card.
Does that still put you at 4 cards in the death pile? Yep. Yep. That's
So 2 Slaver's Bay ports, getting them 4 gold since there's 5 cards in the dead pile. They were just discussing there.
Power. Oh shit. I forgot the flipper out. Yeah. I forgot my another one in there. One less.
And Viserys Targaryen. It's going to be able to remove an attachment, possibly. Which is always good to see against a Qohor deck.
Yeah, actually, I
6 golds.
And Khal Drogo on the other side, a big renowned body, able to get extra challenges through here. The Qohor player's going to have to put down some stuff to defend. Oh, we got a milk, though, on Danny. Not on Drogo, but on Danny. And a Mother of Dragons attached there on Daenerys. And 3 gold saved. Oh. Do you just go in all power here? Is there enough to even get through? He's going to flea bottom, bring in second sons. There's you. Now you got a power. And then... yeah, I don't know. An all-in power challenge, I think, does it here with the Renown on Drogo plus claim. And then, worst case, it gets blocked, and then you just pitch to Plaza Pride, stand back up, Drogo, and come in on a mill. Or you just do Drogo on a mill right now. Would probably be the better start. Khal Drogo with somebody on a mill. I think you're good. Oh, and on top of that, we also have Aegon Targaryen coming in. Yeah, I don't see any way of the Qohor player stopping that extra 1 power being gained. And we got the Unsullied, just reducing strength on either military or power. So yeah, that's it. Francis says that's game. He knows it's over. That's too bad. Yeah, that Khal Drogo dying there earlier in the game, I think, crushed any chance the Qohor player had. But it was nice not seeing Tyrell Wars on the channel there in that video. Thanks to both players for playing on camera. Thanks to you guys for being here watching. Like I said, we got more Thrones coming up on the channel. Thanks for being here, and we will see you in the next one.